Doctor, what would you say is your greatest strength when it comes to incorporating into the medicine field as a spinal surgeon?
Okay, maybe my greatest strength is to recognize who knows more than I do and befriend them and work together with them so that we're both successful. They need me and I need them. And so you cannot be there on an island by yourself. But I know what I know, but my greatest strength is pick other people who are similar to me, who is going to enhance what I know, and the two of us, we're better as a team.
Right, I agree. It takes, to build an empire, it takes a team, right? It's never a solo man to do it.
I don't know what you call it an empire, for instance, is Russia or China or the United States a bigger empire? Each one has their own philosophy and their own system, right?
Right.
And right now, because of global politics, everyone is afraid of China because they work hard and they work, okay? And then Russia, they're very controlling. In the United States, with democracy, you can only have so much democracy before you butt heads with each other, like Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Okay, you can't have too much of anything.
What kind, in your opinion, what would you say, manual dexterity is a huge part in being a surgeon because you have to use your hands very often. How important is that would you say, in
as
your
a
profession?
surgeon,
as a surgeon,
manual dexterity is a big portion of it. But with new AI, with virtual reality, with holograms, with three-dimension visualization, an average surgeon can be made a very good surgeon. But you still have those who are like a superstar.
Right.
But a superstar, even if you're in football, baseball, basketball, you can't be individual because the superstar like Kevin Durant can't hold up the team. You need to have at least 2 or 3 superstars that's willing to work together in a supporting team.
Right.
If you have 5 superstars, you'll never win because everybody's too selfish. So teamwork is the
teamwork.
Right.
Right.
The key.
What would you say if let's go back in memory lane, right? So if you were to meet yourself right before you graduate from residency, if you were to give one advice to your young self, being a fresh spinal surgeon out in the field, what would that one advice be?
It would be not to get ahead of yourself, but know where you belong in the group and know how you belong and work your way to the point where others recognize you as being someone that they need to be part of the team. You cannot come out and say, I'm the best, I'm the greatest. You have to let somebody else recognize that. Somebody with similar goals and similar assets. And you two get together, and as a team, you're going to be able to accomplish things that you can't by yourself. So it's never about me or I. Team doesn't have I in it. It's an effort of a joint effort.
Right. Did you have any mentors during your way throughout your career as a spinal surgeon and also a business owner? Because you've owned several businesses now. In what countries, Doctor?
I have interests in a Taiwan company and in a Chinese company from Beijing, but based in Delaware. Yeah. So it's a U.S. company that's do business in China.
Wow.
Because we find that it's easier to have Chinese or Asian students who believe in you. They end up working harder, and they always refer to their teachers as a sifu, okay? And so, but the West doesn't have that culture, okay? Maybe in Germany, they think they're the best engineers in the world, and they are very good, okay?
Yeah.
But sometimes if you're too successful. Like in Germany, the Jews were so successful, they were persecuted, right? So you can't be too successful, you can't be too not successful. You have to know how, be respected for what you do.
Right. What companies do you operate in those countries?
Well, I operate not as by myself, but work as a team. The biggest company is called Bonovo, B-O-N-O-V-O.
Okay.
That's out of Delaware, but they are now developing some ideas that I have that I brought to the company for manufacturing, for creating high-end disposables to be used in other areas rather than lumbar spine. We'll branch out into cervical, thoracic, lumbar, and I like to say the anatomy doesn't change, the indications change. And now my focus is personalized pain care because of the opioid problem.
Right.
If you can take away their need for pain pills and pain medication, but you can do it in a way like with a surgical procedure, it's teachable, but not everybody can do it. I would say 20%.
Wow. So it's quite a skill set to...
It's a skill that is learned through dedicating yourself to the using AI, using visualization, using the endoscope.
Right.
And that's where I'm proud of, because I'm at the forefront of developing those tools, that philosophy. I call it, it's a philosophy and it's a technique. But when you have a philosophy and the technique that not everybody can do, it becomes disruptive.
Yes.
Okay? And it can also be disparative, means if it's disruptive, how can they accept it if they're disparaged by it? So there's a fine balance.
Right.
Those are the words, disruptive and disparative.
Disruptive and disparative. So Doctor, how would you say your approach to endoscopic is, would you say is a naturopathic approach? How do you feel in regards to naturopathy and medicine?
Okay. I am a surgeon, and I believe in imaging, good hands, but I realize that the rest of the world, they're going to migrate toward naturopathic more than a famous cardiac surgeon or surgeon, because there's very few of those. But there's a lot of naturopaths. There are a lot of people that believe in naturopathic medicine. They don't want surgery. They want you to take care of their problem. If it comes back, as long as they don't make worse, they're okay. So I think that's the new vision, is that you got to combine naturopathic with multidisciplinary, and not everybody can be an expert. For instance, the orthopedics, I was going to hand surgery, spine surgery, knee surgery. It's all isolated.
Right.
But naturopathic takes care of everything.
It's holistic.
Holistic, right. And right now, what better example than the COVID virus? It's like curing the common cold. You can never cure the common cold, you never have. But people don't worry. But except with COVID, the variants, you can die from it if you don't take care of yourself.
Right.
Okay? And so everybody's afraid of getting COVID. But it's like getting afraid of getting the cold. Eventually, it's going to stabilize.
Dr. Yeung, from your vast experience as a spinal surgeon, what advice can you give to residents today who are on their path to becoming, spinal surgeons? What advice can you give in regards to operating their own practice?
Okay. First, spinal surgeon is only one small segment of orthopedic surgery. They have to really like spinal surgery and don't mind the long hours it takes to get to the top. But they have to recognize that they have to love it so much that it's not work. Okay? So my advice to my own children and my grandchildren, just do what you like. If it's spinal surgery, fine. But strive to be the best at it, the best that you can, and know your own limitations. Okay? It's very important. And not get frustrated because you can't attain the pinnacle, but you have to know your limitations and use that to guide you and be satisfied with the level that you can achieve by being the best that you can do.
How would you say your approach is to handling failures or not being able to reach to a certain, goal that you strive for?
I think one of the problems, if you're too intense and you fall apart and you get frustrated if you don't reach that pinnacle, you have to realize that nobody can be perfect. I like golf, but I don't like to play golf because if I don't get a hole in one, I get frustrated. So I just say, hey, I'll just do it. I'll play, but I'll pick up the ball when I'm ready, and nobody has, I don't mind hitting on the ladies' tee, but if I enjoy it, I like the scenery, right? So you got to know what your limitations are and be happy with it and be the best that you can, but don't get frustrated if you can't. That's the main thing. Don't get too uptight about it.
That's great advice. So I know that you, besides being a surgeon, you are also a great inventor. How are you able to time management between, operating and also inventing and running your own business and expanding your business at the same time?
The biggest move I made was to open my own surgery center. And when I did that, I was able to take advantage of companies that wanted me to do research for them. But because what I did was minimally invasive, I can use the same cadaver over and over and over. And in a boring moment, I would defrost it and try different techniques. And so it's having the vision and having the confidence that when you open a business, not only are you able to make profits from that, but know how to expand and be somebody that can have a supply chain and develop the techniques by having the equipment available for you to tinker with things.
Right. So it's being able to scale, identify talents that can incorporate into your own team.
Right.
Pretty much.
But you can never be the best at everything.
Yeah.
Right? So the important thing is know your limitations, but know that you want to work hard because you love what you do.
Yes. Your passion, right? Have a passion and follow it. So what do you do to relax, doctor? Right now, Dr. Yeung is retired and enjoying life, right? But before, when you're working so hard and so stressed every day, how do you distress?
Well, I just explained, it's not stress if I enjoy what I'm doing.
Oh.
But I could be so focused that I don't like people who disagrees with me. And I know I like what I like, but I don't want to be me too'd by anybody.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor, for joining me in this interview. And I hope you can come back also for a second segment interview with me. But yeah, I appreciate your time and being here and giving your sage advice to our audience.
Well, if I may say this, you make it easy in an interview. I would like to interview you.
Maybe next episode.
Okay.
Thank you.